Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here, coach of the Bronx Beartics with my week 1 team builder of the P4G. We're playing Dan, aka aDrive, coach of the St. Louis Rampardos. I apologize, my voice sounds a little bit different. I either lost it or I did just wake up, so I sound like this in the morning. But yeah, Dan has a super threatening team. Now, before we actually get into this, I just want to say, or give a big shout out to Matty Brolic as well as Gypsy King. They actually didn't build with me this week. I built myself, and then I think I just showed them a team, and they just gave me their thoughts on it. But the biggest reason why I actually built myself is because Zazo, Aki, and Sticks, they were all done with their teams like 2-3 weeks before I made mine. So I was like, okay, they're all ready to practice. So I was like, okay, let me build this team in a couple of minutes real quick, and let's see how it goes. And it actually ended up being a really solid team. I just tweaked some EV spreads and whatnot, and that was about it. But basically, Dan has a rain team. Palito, Tornadus. Then he has, obviously, Ludicolo and Kabutops to abuse rain. Even Pikachu can abuse it if it wants to run Thunder. Rotom for Volt Switch. Escavalier, which is actually really good versus me because I have like a Mesprit and whatnot. Also, its stab hits my team really hard. I mean, it hits every team real hard unless your name is Heatran or Empoleon or something like that, or like a solid steel type, obviously. We have Slurpuff, which can be Sticky Web or Belly Drum. In practice, they were usually physically defensive versus me with like wish support because they can come in on my Zydog. Otherwise, my Zydog just like 2 KOs every month on his team. Sandslash can be a rocker as well as Kabutops, but I don't think Kabutops would be a rocker. In fact, if Dan is going to bring rocks versus me, Sandslash has to be seen at team preview. Otherwise, he's not bringing rocks. I don't think you waste Kabutops as a rocker when it's just so good and so strong. Liquidation, knockoff, Stone Edge. It can use Natural Gift Grass, which is something I could see coming from my Seismitoad and whatnot. And then he has Jigalgi, which can just be specs or T-Spike variants. So, alright, my thought process when looking at his team was like, I have spikes and hazards, whatnot. I can hopefully pressure him with hazards to the point of my priority just being a huge problem for him. Like, that was my idea, right? It was pressure him with spikes. My Zygarde, if it comes in and rain isn't up, like if it comes in versus Tornadus, or even if rain is up but it's faster than the Pokemon that's out, like a weakened Escavalier, Dragalge, a weakened Politoed, or a Tornadus that's at about like 70-80%, I want to say. Zygarde can pretty much pick up a KO, especially if Stealth Rock and Spike are up, because that means that he can't go into his only switch-in, which is Ludicolo. And even Choice Band Zydog's 1,000 Arrows does not appreciate, or he does not appreciate that. He can't switch into that really well. So my idea was, all right, let's stack up hazards. Let's use the priority I have on my team in Hariyama as well as Zygarde, especially Hariyama. Hariyama is really cool because access to Fake Out is super, super good versus him. Not only because it gives me a priority move, but also it stops a turn of rain, and that's really big. And of course, Hariyama does have Bullet Punch, which is really nice for picking off a weakened Tornadus. It actually knocks out a Belly Drum Slurpuff. It does like 50-something% when I'm having my Flame Orb activated, which I am Flame Orb, you guys will see. And Hariyama is just a Pokemon he also does not switch into. So if I get it in versus like a slower mon, he can't switch into it. But yeah, like I said, my thought process was hazard stack him and overpower him with priority. That way it doesn't matter if he brings webs. It doesn't matter that his team is all faster than mine because he does have rain users. And yeah, let's just get into the team. So as I mentioned, I wanted to pressure him with priority. And I already mentioned about Choice Band Zygarde, but that's the mon that's coming this week. We have Post Mode right here. This is Mode After Army. But we have enough speed to outspeed his fastest Pokemon, which is his Tornadus. Outside of that, the rest was just dumped into attack, and then the rest was put into HP. So max attack, rest HP, but it doesn't really matter per se for this Pokemon because Zygarde isn't taking hits from him for the most part. For the most part, like he's hitting me with moves like either Strong Boosted Liquidation, which will definitely knock me out in the rain, or an Ice Beam from Ludicolo/Politoed. But 1,000 Arrows hits his entire team. Extreme Speed, again, is that priority. That'll help me pick off a weakened Ludicolo, especially after hazards. Earthquake is my third choice of a move because it hits just a bit harder than the 1,000 Arrows. And if I get rid of Tornadus and Rotom Heat, he doesn't have an Earthquake immunity. Okay, Mothin, yeah, but I don't think he's going to bring Mothin versus me, at least not for the first week. Because I know we both want to win. Dan and I are kind of like rivals in, well, okay, I guess Miguel is more so his rival, but Dan is also like I don't know, I consider him my rival and when it comes to Draft League, so I don't know if he considers me the same, but I know we both want to win. That much I know we both want to win, so I don't expect him often versus me. And then I have Outrage, and Outrage is only there because, let's say he has like Lastmon, Ponytoad, Dragalge, Sandslash. I'd rather lock myself in Outrage, which is obviously slightly stronger, just for the Sandslash thing. Well, it depends on where the Pokemon are, to be honest, but Outrage just gives me that strong move versus Ludicolo, doesn't allow it to come in. And just hits him hard. I doubt I'll be clicking it. For the most part, I'll be clicking 1,000 Arrows as well as Extreme Speed. I don't want to allow Slurpuff a free setup, though, again, I do have ways of dealing with that. So next up, we have Gator-sama, my Hariyama. And this is my Flame Orb Hariyama. Like I said, pressure him with Fake Out. The key thing about Fake Out is not only flinching my opponent, but stopping that one turn of rain. Bullet Punch is there because Fake Out and a Bullet Punch can knock out a Belly Drum Slurpuff. So after it's Belly Drum, got Citrus Berry, I Fake it out, and then I Flame Orb Bullet Punch, Guts boosted, knock him out. Facade is my third option as it allows me to hit Pokemon like Tornadus, Dragalge, and honestly any fighting resist he has, which that's about it, Slurpuff. Incredibly hard coming off of, a 140 base power move. When it's Flame Orb boosted plus Guts. So he doesn't switch in well to Hariyama at all. And then, of course, I do have the Close Combat, allowing me to deal with Pokemon such as Ponytoad, and Escavalier and whatnot. And I guess Kabutops. Like, Kabutops definitely a threat to the team. But between, especially because you guys will see my Rose Raid set as well as my Seismitoad set. If he wants to run like a max speed Kabutops with like Liquidation, knockoff Stone Edge, SD. That's a really, really, really big threat to the team. But Fake Out plus BP plus a few of the other options I do have and plus Extreme Speed, I can deal with it. You guys will see what I mean. But the Hariyama has just enough speed to outspeed a creeping Dragalge, faster than Escavalier and whatnot. The rest was just put into HP and attack. If it's a timid Ludicolo, I can live. Hydro Pump, if it's modest, it has a really good chance to knock me out. But Hariyama isn't really there to take hits. It's there to dish them out. And outspeed his team and also outspeed the slower mon in his team and also take hits from like Ponytoad. Like that's necessary. Like I'll eat a hit from Ponytoad. I'll eat a hit from Kabutops. But Ludicolo's Hydro Pump, that's another story. Modest Ludicolo's Hydro Pump has a really good chance to knock me out. But I'll even live like Play Rough from something like Slurpuff if it's unboosted. So it's just like something like that. Hariyama can do a lot of work. Versus his squad, and it's just so thick because of its HP, so it can't like get knocked out that easily. But the idea again, pressuring with hazards and whatnot. Next up, we have Key, my Seismitoad. Now, if you guys don't know about this league, they let us use whatever Z move we want on whatever Pokemon. Obviously, certain Z moves are banned, like Omni Boosting, and I think Evasion Strats are banned too. But I really, really, really like Seismitoad in this game because of Swift Swim. I feel like he'll be thinking I'll be Water Absorb, but of course, he could still be thinking about Swift Swim. That's not... Like, he could definitely... I'm going to give him credit because he's used Seismitoad before and he knows its abilities. But defensively, Water Absorb checks Kabutops, which is why I can see something like a Natural Gift Grass coming out. And offensively, I love this Seismitoad. Like, as you guys see, I have 244 speed. This allows me to outspeed max speed Slurpuff. So I'm faster than that in the rain. And that's unburdened Slurpuff, by the way. So plus 2 Slurpuff, I'm faster than Jolly Slurpuff in the rain. I also have the Poison Jab plus 12 attack EVs, Naive Nature. Shout out to Gypsy because I was using Sludge Wave, but I asked him his thoughts on it. He's like, no, just go Poison Jab, dude. Yeah, you'll go Naive, but you'll be able to pick up that KO guaranteed on Ludicolo. And that's the point of it. Poison Z, Poison Jab, guarantee knocks out Ludicolo. And if it's a bulky Ludicolo, I have Stealth Rock with Spike to deal damage to it. Surf, Rain boosted, hits his team incredibly hard. For the most part, 2 KOs everything. And then Earth Power, 2 KOs everything that Surf doesn't. The only exception would be potentially the Ponytoad, depending on the EV spread. But I really like Surf. I also like it because it's a really accurate move I don't have to worry about. And then, of course, I have Hydro Pump if I need to pick up a KO. Like, for example, like full HP Tornadus versus me. If I need a quick Hydro Pump, it will knock it out with the Rain Boost and things like that. But the idea of this mon is that it outspeeds his Rain Sweepers if they're running... if they're not running plus speed nature, and basically it outspeeds is Timid Ludicolo as well, but it doesn't outspeed Jolly Kabutops, but if he's running Adamant Kabutops, I do outspeed it, and Earth Power guarantee knocks it out. Earth Power 2 KOs Dragalge, Surf, Rotom, Escavalier and whatnot. I figured that Swift Swing Key over here, and I named that the key because, like I said, or if you guys haven't noticed, if you've never watched my playthroughs, which I don't blame you, we usually get a water type, and it's usually a broken water type, and I have a habit of calling them Key, and they're usually like the MVP of the team, so I need to name my Seism Toad after Key for sure. But offensive Seism Toad coming this week. Let's see how it does. It looks like it has a really good matchup. Also gives me an electric immunity as well as a fire resist in the same thing, so Rotom can't do crap. So now we have Roserade, and I really expect this thing to shine. In testing, it did a lot of work. Again, shouts Zazo, Aki, and Sticks. This thing did a lot of work. Originally, I was running Spike, Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed, Energy Ball, I believe, but I ended up making it Spike, Sludge Bomb, Protect, Leech Seed. Now, the idea of this set is it's max def, max HP, Calm Nature. So, and with a Black Sludge with Protect, I'm never ever 2-hit KO'd by Modest Life Orb, Ludicolo's Ice Beam. I also live with a Protect, a Sub-Zero Slammer into a regular Ice Beam. And I really like the idea of, well, Roserade offensively versus his team is really, really solid, right? It's super solid versus his team, but it doesn't offer me much defensively since Tornadus, Ludicolo, and Kabutops can all knock it out. I mean, they can still knock this one out, but actually it has to be Specs Tornadus to knock out my Roserade. And yeah, and this thing takes like 40-something% from overheat from Rotom in the rain, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so the idea is Roserade does 4 switches, and it's really obvious what his switches are. Potentially Dragalge, if he doesn't expect me to have like Extrasensory or HP Ice. Escavalier is a really obvious switch in, and maybe like Rotom or even Tornadus if he expects me to go for Energy Ball. So Leech Seed plus Protect gets me that 12%, plus another 12%, plus Stealth Rock, plus Spikes, plus Recovery so I can take on his Mons. I opted for Sludge Bomb over Energy Ball because I wanted to be able to hit Ludicolo for a solid 2-hit KO easily. An Energy Ball, while it did hit his Politoed hard as well as Kabutops, I figured, and in Science Slash, I figured that the ability to hit Dragalge and Escavalier and Rotom and Tornadus is just way too good to pass up. Especially if I, like for example, if he has Kabutops out and he decides to go for SD and I go for Leech Seed, I Leech Seed, I Protect, I Sack, I go Hariyama, I Fake Out. That's another turn of Leech Seed Recovery, plus Bullet Punch, plus depending on what I sack, I can go back on the Roserade and Protect. So I can deal with the Kabutops. It's a little bit harder, but I can deal with Kabutops. Plus, chances are he's just going to attack me anyway. But I really want Spikes to, of course, pressure him with that, plus my priority. And Leech Seed plus Protect is just super good. It allows me to beat Pokemon like Escavalier. Not beat them, but wear them down. It allows me to actually beat Dragalge depending on the set. And it just gives me that recovery to be able to take on Ludicolo. And like I said, Spadef Roserade just takes hits really well. So next up we have Physically Defensive Mawile. And it's just max defense, max HP. I wanted Rocks on the team, but I didn't want Mesmer to be my rocker, and you guys will see why. But I wanted Rocks on the team. And I wanted something that can pivot in on a Escavalier without giving it too much setup if it's an SD variant, but also be able to take like a +6 Slurpuff's Drain Punch, which my Mawile can take. And after that, I can either go for Iron Head or I can go for Super Fang. Super Fang's a little bit more risky, obviously, because it can miss 10% of the time, but Iron Head will put it in range of Fake Out plus Bullet Punch from Hariyama guaranteed after the recovery. So, Stealth Rock Iron Head, that's why I have that. I went for Pain Split because if I switch in on a Escavalier, even if it goes for Iron Head at -1, it doesn't do much, even if it's Choice Band. And I can Pain Split it all up with my Mawile. Plus I'm faster than the Escavalier. And then Super Fang is really nice too because it hits switches really hard. Like if he wants to go something like Ludicolo, predicting me to go for Iron Head, or if it goes Politoed, if it's physically defensive, I get 50% off on that, 50% off on a Escavalier. That's what I was talking about, like not giving a Escavalier free setup even though I don't have a way of touching it. Even though Mawile of course does get Fire Fang and Flamethrower, and I believe even Fire Blast. I wanted to make sure that whatever switching he went to, I'm not giving it a free switch. And I also want to be able to get Stealth Rock up with this Mon, which he can do versus potentially Kabutops, Escavalier, Slurpuff, even Politoed if I need to. And just Super Fang again to wear him down. I thought this was the best Mawile set, especially if you have Super Fang. You come in on hazards already, right? Let's say I have a Spike and Stealth Rock up. You're taking Spike and Stealth Rock. Then you're taking 50% of whatever HP stat you're at with Super Fang. So you're guaranteed in range of my priorities. So that was the idea of Mawile. Pressure him with the hazards and pivot in on again Slurpuff and Escavalier. Last but not, it also gives me a flying resist, which can take one. It can take one hurricane. It's not taking two hurricanes though, but that's not the idea of that. So next up, I have Assault Vest Mesprit, and the idea of this was be able to take, not be 2 KO'd by a Specs Hurricane, which my EV spread allows me to do. But I also wanted Fizz Death to switch in on potentially Kabutops or take a hit from Kabutops as well as Sand Slash, and even potentially Slurpuff. I could have potentially went with more Spadef to take on Tornadus better. I understand that, but the idea of it is just pivot in once on it, get off of Thunder if Rain is up. That's why I actually have Thunder, because with Rain up, it does like 80% to Tornadus at minimum, around that range. So guarantee puts in range of any of my Pokemon's attacks. I have Energy Ball there because Energy Ball hits Sand Slash since it's a rocker. I can see him bringing, as well as Kabutops for the KO. It hits Sand Slash for a good damage to a KO, and it hits Kabutops for the KO. Psychic is just my main move. Nice stab move. Does about 30-something%, 40% to Rotom, close to 50% to Tornadus. Smacks your Galgi, and with the Assault Vest, I can actually take hits from it. And then I have U-turn. Now, if you can see by my EV spread, or my IV spread rather, I have 29 speed. That's because I want to guarantee be slower than 0 speed Politoed. And I want to get a slow U-turn off into something like Roserade or Hariyama or Zygarde, depending on how much damage I got up, because he's definitely bringing Damp Rock Politoed. I think that Rain is too good versus me to not bring that. Like, he has a few options. Like, Seagull could be definitely a problem, but I feel like my priority helps me deal with that. His Rain uses can be an issue, but I feel like I have ways of checking that, as I've already claimed. But the idea was a bulky Mesprit can take hits when it needs to and just give me momentum with a slow U-turn, and also just hit him decently hard. But yeah, that's the team for this week. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Of course, check out aDrive. His link will be down below. And yeah, I'm really excited for week 1 of P4G. It should be going up Sunday, 2 p.m. Excited just to be playing draft, and I really like my team too. I was really proud of it. And it did really well in testing. So we'll see. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.